So now moving on, the third most important thing which will be a part of a DAX expression or a DAX query or expressions if you call it so, is the functions. These are inbuilt formulas pre-saved and given to Power BI Desktop Designer to use and makes it organization specific measures. A more important way of saying this is there are half-baked items already present to use and exploit to generate your org specific formulas. So these are aiders to your work and reduces your calculation on certain areas of usage. There are about 200 functions which are readily available in data analysis expression, that is DAX formulas. These are broadly classified into date and time functions, time intelligent functions, filter functions, information functions, logical functions, parent and child functions, statistical functions, text functions, math and trigonometrical functions. So if I have to tell you, date and time functions are similar to the ones which we use in Excel as in today, etc. Time intelligent functions are the functions which would, based on today's date, would be able to calculate certain things as in what is the MTD month till date, what is YTD year to date, what is previous year same time, previous year same quarter, what is the first day of the month, what is the last day of the month kind of a function. Filter functions are those functions wherein out of the broad data which you would get in a table set, you want to exclude certain data based on certain conditions. Like I said in my earlier example, what if you want to see only the content of the or the revenue of the socks as an item amongst all the items of clothing which you've bought or which you sell. In this case, you can have a filter function, make use of these filter function to make a measure, your custom measure, which will only consider price or the sum of the ranges which are of type socks and ignore all the other items present. Information function is like if you want to check is this true, is this false, is it first, is it last, that kind of a function can be called as an information function. Logical functions are basic if else, if like we saw today, if something is equal to something then make it as true. Those are logical functions. Parent child functions are if the child function returns something for the parent to take care and move ahead. So these are like a tree kind of a function wherein you can have a subchild or a subset evaluated first and passed on to the parent. Statistical functions and math functions are those functions which are basically available on your calculator, as in scientific calculator might ask for a sine, cosine, tan kind of a function, whereas statistical functions are one of those, and the text functions are is text, convert to text kind of the functions. Overall, this is the broad range of DAX formulas. Let's check few of them on our own. If I have to tell you, what if I want to see what is today as a measure? So let's go back to our query and I say I just rename it first to something known as functions, right? This is multiplication, so I will rename it to DAX functions, right? So this gets renamed everywhere. This gets off, right? If I select it, it gets DAX function. Now let's check if I want to showcase what is today as a function. It does not take any argument. It will show me a value. Today is this date. What if let's go back and see what do I have next. What is the year if I want to check? So, year of a particular date, and I say date. of type 2019, comma 10, comma 12. It is YYMMDD. And then I do a parenthesis. First it would evaluate the inner parenthesis and then generate the outer parenthesis. So in this case it should return me a value 2019 as an year. Again, what if I want to check a date diff between two? So if I say date diff between date 1 and date 2. So if I say date and it is 2018 0101 and I say date 2, this is first date, I have to close the parenthesis. Now the second date moves on. It gives you a good prompt in your Power BI as to consider what. So if I say again a date which is 2019 01, close the date and the date parenthesis, and I say interval of how many days have passed or month have passed. Let's say in terms of month, and I say okay. What will it show it to me? As 12 months has been passed from this date to this date. What if I change something like 9 and 8, right? What happens over here? It gives me minus 12. So it is like a forward calculating date diff, wherein you would calculate from the day going forward. A very important things to do or know while working with dates. Date value. Now let's see what is date value. So you need not know everything, right? However, converts a date in the form of text to date in the date format time. 2019 0101. Let's see if it works. It doesn't work because it is not in the text format. It still doesn't work. So let's see date value. It converts a date in the form of text to the date in the interval. So let's try 201-01-2019. If that's right, it will calculate, or else it won't. Yes. So this is one of the methods. If you try with some other method, let's see what does it say. It does calculate it. Now, is it an MMDDYY or is it a DDMMYY? Good way of doing it is this, right? What if I make this as 13 and I make this as 1? Will it consider MMDDYY or DDMMYY? This is fine. And if I say so, it's intelligent to identify is it a DDMMYY or MMDDYY. A good way of doing that. Date add, my favorite function to make use of. If I say date add, I say dates and number of interval, right? I can say moves the given set of days by a specified interval. So if I say date and I say 2019 comma 10 comma 01, I close this and I say number of intervals is 1 and my interval is day. So it would convert this 1st of October to 2nd of October and display. I have missed something over here. What is it? If you know me, then I have missed this. Okay. Let's check it again. This gets sorted over here. this gets sorted over here. So I have to sort this and I have to sort this. First, there must be specify a column. So in this case, you have to specify a column name which is of type date. In this case, let's convert something available to us. Employee birth date. Example, if I move it, it cannot display. Why? Because that visual cannot handle this value. So if I convert this to this, why does it not display? Calculation measure table of multiply value was supplied where the single value was expected. So in this case, a single value expectation let us down. Let's go ahead. Let's consider a column as first date. From which column? Let me see. Birth date, right? And I say dot date and I say closed. First date of this, and then I see what happens. There is something different. Let's drill it down. Identify. Okay, and I say this first date, I say this, that's this, yes, then I say this, then I say 1. Too many arguments are passed to the first date function. The maximum argument of this is 1. So let's do one thing. Let's break it down when you are in start. First date, then you say of birth date dot date. Is this working? Yes. Then let's move on to calculate date add, that is 1/1/1937. Date add to this function comma 1 comma day. And if I go ahead and I say this, so instead of 1 1 it should be 1 2. There you go. This is what I was trying to demonstrate. Next, dates between. These are certain beautiful functions which we can learn. Dates between two dates, right? Returns dates between two dates. 19, 01, 01 and start date is again this and end dates is month is again 1, but my day has moved ahead. I say closed. Does he need a table valued function? Column date reference is the first. So a column which has that date is brought to be in. So example, let's go ahead with, there you go. There is nobody bought or in this. But if I say 37 and 37, then it gives me certain, not yet. So dates between is not helping us over here. We'll come back to this. we need to give them birth date, comma. What is not helping you? 1, 2. If I say this and I say this, okay, we'll come back to this. Moving on. Now, when we say dates MTB, okay, when I say dates MTB, instead of that, I could have used MTD. Oh my god, it needs a column again. Let's fix this.